Yo, what's going on, everybody? Look, you already know what it is. This is Xavian D and this is the Lewis brand. Look, thank you for tuning into an episode of I Rant Too with Xavian D. Look, I want you to take a second right quick, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to click the bell for notifications on all brand new content. And don't just do it on YouTube. Go right over to my Instagram, at The Real Xavian Lewis. Go right over to my Facebook, Xavian D. Lewis, and let me know what you want to see. Engage with some posts. Hey, I'm going to do some social media things with the podcast, so go right on over and let me know what you want to hear, what you want to see. Now look, let's hop right into today's episode. All right, what's going on, everybody? Look, you already know what it is. This is Xavian D. and this is the Lewis brand, and you have tuned in to episode 7. Yes, it's my favorite number, episode 7 of I Rant Too with Xavian D. That's what she said. In case you don't know where I get that from, watch this little clip right here from one of my favorite all-time shows in the world, The Office.
Really hard. You really think you can go all day long? Well, you always left me satisfied and smiling, so...
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
Now, you just seen those little clips right there. One of my favorite characters in the world, Michael Scott, from one of my favorite shows in the world, The Office. And, it's just a little going joke. That's what she said. And I want to center this episode talking about relationships, right? And not just relationships in the aspect of you and another person, but also your personal relationship with yourself and how to look into that. But let me start off this episode by saying this. Thank you all so very, very much for all of your support, your continued support, everything that you're doing for this podcast. I promise you, it does not go unnoticed. We are building and we are still creating great things. Look, even drop it in the comments right quick. If you want to see some merchandise, what would you want the merchandise to say, right? Would you want me to put quotes on there? You want mugs? What do you want on the merchandise, right? You want some t-shirts, some hoodies? I know the season's about to get a little bit colder. Let me know what you want merchandise-wise for I Rant Too with Xavian D. Lewis, right? So hit me up. Let me know what you want to do. Put it in the comments. Also, make sure to go follow me on my social media pages. I promise you do not want to miss what happens on those social media pollings for the episodes. I promise you I enjoy each and every one of you guys' comments. These next few episodes, you all showed out and you showed yourselves in these social media polls, and I love it. Every bit of it. But let's dive right into our first, and my first rant always goes right into the topic, and I always want to address personally first, right? And so let's go back. So I'm born in '02, right? And, I don't know, I know I'm not a millennial or oh my God, I was watching Medea's farewell play the other day, and they so funny on there talking about, no, they're called Millionites. That was funny to me. But no, I'm not a millennial. I think I'm Gen Z. It's a very, very interesting little area though, because if you're born in '02, most of the things you grew up were still very, very much so 90s influenced. So we were still very heavily influenced by the 90s, but while still getting that 2000 Soulja Boy, Lil Wayne era right up in there. Very, very interesting. And so during that time period when it comes, so me growing up, we all saw a bunch of long lasting relationships. Now, especially when I say we, I mean like kids our age. We grew up, we saw, in the media, the things that we saw about relationships were people who were thriving in their relationships, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I kind of saw growing up, especially in my hometown, Natchez, Mississippi. I always got to shout y'all out. I love y'all with all my heart. Growing up in Natchez, Mississippi, we saw long lasting relationships, people who had been together for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? You saw long lasting relationships, and you saw long lasting relationships, but you didn't really see how they got to those points. All they told you was that they was all together for all them times, right? They just told you, oh yeah, we've been together for this long, but you never understood how they got to those points. And granted, to their point, they wasn't explaining that to a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid about how they was that long. But, you know, if they would have kind of started, you know, planting that knowledge in our heads earlier on about, you know, what it takes to have a long lasting relationship, we would probably be in better circumstances than we are now in this culture. Right. So, talking about long lasting relationships, what I kind of saw growing up, I see my parents have been together for 21 years. My grandparents have been together for 50 plus years, you know, just kind of seeing that in my life. And my whole thing was I kind of grew up, and Lord, I hate saying this, I grew up kind of like a little lover boy or something like that. Don't talk too bad about me, but I kind of grew up a hopeless romantic, right? I would watch those Disney movies and I would see those characters fall in love. Oh, baby, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a player, but I'm not gonna be one of them players that got, you know, a bunch of different girls, a bunch of different ways. I wanted to have one girl simping over me, and I think I did pretty good. But you know, that's kind of how I wanted to grow up. You know, I wanted to be able to put that little charm on her, put that magic on her, and bam, she mine. So I really, really wanted to do that. You know, you saw those movies and you saw how they fell in love and how they would kind of lock eyes and it would be like love at first sight. You know, that's the kind of stuff we, you know, kind of watched and saw growing up, especially if you grew up like a Disney Channel kid, Nickelodeon kid, Cartoon Network kid, those movies and everything. Baby, let me tell you what I used to love. This movie did it for me. Starstruck was my movie. Baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I wasn't even really like one of the, now don't get me wrong, I loved Camp Rock. I was more into on Nickelodeon. So, and I talk about this a whole lot. Lord, I'm ranting for real now. Cause I'm gonna have to get it back to long lasting relationships. Cause I'm really, really ranting for real. But so around the time, so, you know, everybody was real hype about Let It Shine with Coco Jones on Disney Channel. But me, I was real hype for Rags on Nickelodeon with Keke Palmer. And it wasn't in my mind like I was, you know, discriminating against one black girl or the other, because they both are some chocolate queens. You know what I'm saying? They're black queens out here in these streets. And we love Keke and we love Coco, because Keke Palmer, she is doing her Diddy Bop right now. Coco Jones, she been doing it for a while. She's been doing a great job. But you look at those time periods and I'm in my head like, I already know what Keke Palmer does. And at that point, you remember at that point, nobody knew who Coco Jones even was. So like, I'm like, why would I fantasize about this movie on Disney Channel, Let It Shine? And I wasn't a big rapper type of kid anyway. I liked pop R&B stuff. And so that's what they more so had on Let It Shine, and rapping and all that kind of stuff. I really wasn't for that. But Rags, oh my God, I love me some Rags, baby. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. What's the name of the song on Rags? Me and You Against the World. We did it for love. Oh, I just changed keys so bad. Oh my God, that made me cringe as a singer. We tried and we won. We haven't in love. It's me and you against the world. But I know, yeah. I used to love Rags with all my heart. But I mean, you couldn't deny how good Let It Shine was either. Like me and my cousin, what's going on, JJ? I mean, well, he likes people to call him Cash now. What's going on, Cash? Football player over there at USM. When I used to go over to his house, we used to sit and watch that movie time after time after time after time after time every single night when we was over there. I'm not even gonna hold you. We used to sit and watch that movie so much. But okay, let me backtrack here. I said all that to say, I grew up feeling like I was a hopeless romantic, and I grew up, you know, in that mindset of I want to be able to communicate my love. I want to be able to see what I do I want to be able to do the things that I see on TV. I see them be able to effectively communicate their love to one another. So why can't I train myself how to communicate the way I feel? You know what I'm saying? And especially being a young black man, one thing that you don't see a lot in the household, especially in, you know, the household and stuff like that, you didn't really see black men expressing themselves correctly. You didn't really see black men expressing themselves at all. And then when they would go to express themselves, they would have unhealthy methods of expression that would be detrimental to the individuals around them. So I always made it in my heart and my mind, I wanted to grow up to be the kind of person that I wanted to be the kind of person that wanted to, learn how to be able to effectively communicate whatever I felt. And so even though I kind of started growing up more, and then I had to realize that it's like being able to effectively communicate. That's step one. But then being able to know how to speak the language at which the other person can understand. Oh, that's the real thing right there. Because, and I'm getting into love and relationships and stuff like that, communication, right? What good is it if I'm speaking English to a person who doesn't understand it? I'm effectively communicating, but they can't understand it. And that's what's happening a lot in our relationships nowadays. It's what's happening a lot in just our lives, period. We're having a bunch of individuals, they're effectively communicating, but they're not speaking a language in which the other person can understand. And that's the thing. We have to stop, we have to take a moment to rip our pride away. And I saw somebody say that, or I don't know if I saw somebody say it, or I just thought about this in my mind. But I think one of the measures that makes a good teacher is his or her ability to break down the subject to where even the smallest of them can understand it. If a teacher is only speaking one language to one type of people, are you really that good of a teacher? Are you really that good of an explainer? Are you really that good of a presenter if you're not able to break it down and make it known to even the least of them, right? And I think, Lord, here we go. I always got to talk about the big J. Love Jesus and how he taught us in his word that through parables, right? Parables were his way to teach godly principles for the individuals who could not read the scrolls. He made it so that they could still understand the principles that were in the scrolls. So, hey, that's what we have nowadays. We have individuals trying to effectively communicate, but we're not speaking in the language in which the other person can understand, right? And so that's what I really, really started, having to get on myself and saying to myself, hey, Xavian, you need to get to a point into your life where you can effectively communicate, not only effectively communicate, but you need to understand how to speak the language where the other person can understand. Look, I gave you that for free. I'm sorry. I just had to give you that one. I had to give you that one for free. So we see in long lasting relationships, and now we're transitioning to the culture that we see nowadays. And I want to pose this question to you guys. I should have made this a social media poll. And I was thinking about it as I was getting ready to record today. I was thinking about this in my mind. Is it that what we see nowadays, is it that these things are new? Or is it that it was there all along and now we just have the opportunity, like the common culture that we live in nowadays is a very, very freeing culture. They don't want anything hidden, nothing swept up under the rug, because we saw what that did before, right? And so like when I was growing up, we saw long lasting relationships, and this is the point I wanted to make. We saw people who were together for 20, 30, 40 years, but they weren't happy because they were consistently sweeping things under the rug. But now in modern day culture, we have individuals that we're saying, okay, hey, we're tired of sweeping stuff under the rug. We would rather stuff just be out in the open. So is it that this culture that we are dealing with nowadays, this hot girl culture, this hot boy culture, you know what I'm saying? That kind of culture that we're dealing with, is it really because everybody just wants to be wild, or is it really just because they're like this is their response to the previous culture right before us, or 2-3 decades before us, right? You just had so many years and decades and generations of people who were okay, especially in romantic relationship settings or even friendship, platonic settings, right? We had individuals who were so okay with sweeping things under the rug and not dealing with them head on. So let's talk about in the culture right quick. Let's talk about the hot girls and the hot boys. And let me give my little 2 cents on it. Not that you asked for it, but you're here watching, so you might as well listen in on what I feel about it. So I feel like everyone in their life has to go through some form of stage, some form of, and people always want to take stuff to scale. Hey, they did it. Hey, it maybe it wasn't on the same scale as you, but they still had some sort of the same experience as you. I mean, maybe they weren't addicted to drugs. They were addicted to something, but they went through a stage in their life where they were not themselves. And I just hate people that be like, and so hi, it's me, Xavian D Lewis, with the Lewis brand. I want to say something. Glory to God. Stop this. Lord, what's the word I want to use? Stop downplaying someone else's struggle because it wasn't the size of your struggle. Glory to God. We do it a lot in the Black community where we do things or we say things like, oh, you ain't really been through nothing because you ain't been through what I've been through. Huh? Be for real. Like, be for real. You ain't what? Oh, you ain't really been through nothing because you ain't been through what I've been through. What? No. They've had experiences that have molded them, and praise God that they didn't have to go through what you went through, right? If they had to go through exactly what you went through, what has changed? What are the signs of the times, right? There's nothing that's changed. So I'm glad that the struggles that I go through, I want my children and my children's children to go through a struggle, but I don't want them to have to go through the same struggle I went through. It would be crazy if Martin Luther King Jr. were still alive to tell this young generation, oh, y'all ain't been through nothing because y'all didn't sit at the countertops and protest. What? Really? That's basically what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. And that makes no sense, right? Makes no sense. A struggle is a struggle. That's all it is. Okay, hold up. Back to my hot girls. This is my 2 cents on it. Everyone is going to go through that stage. Everyone is going to have some form of a stage in life where they just want to do things without consequences, right? Everyone is, and we all know that's not really true. In some form or fashion, it's going to, and woo, I almost said something. Let me hold that. And it's not really just, and we all know that, you know, we really don't do anything in life and don't have any consequences. Like, everything has consequences associated with it, right? That's just common law. You do something, either something is, you either gonna have a equal, what is Newton's law? Every action has an equal and or opposite reaction. Bam. That's going to happen in every sense of the form of life. Newton's law is going to be true. I'm not this is what I was talking about. I'm not just like a big, huge believer in karma or anything like that. Like, I believe in the grace of God. And I believe that certain things that I've done, the grace of God has covered. And I won't even have to allow myself to go through those things, or I won't have to experience those things because the grace of God can cover it. I know you don't want to hear that. I know people don't want to hear that. People want people to go through so much, and people want people to suffer, and they want them to go through the same things they went through. But if the grace of God is to be the grace of God that we believe in, that the Bible says, I promise you, the grace of God is greater than karma. Thank you. That's what I'm gonna leave you on that one. Glory to God. But talk about relationships. That's what she said. In life, dealing with this common current culture, I'm just so very glad. This is what I'm glad about. I'm actually glad that stuff is not getting swept up under the rug, because if it's getting swept up under the rug, it's not being dealt with. It's just staying there and it's festering. It's just, it's taking time to grow and build until something explodes, right? That's not good, and that's not conducive to a healthy environment. You know what's healthy? When I'm able to go in and deal with the stuff at that moment, at that time, in that season, in its appropriate season. Me and my co-producer, my girlfriend, what we commonly go through sometimes is we'll have a little dispute or something. We'll have a little argument, and she wants to talk about it right then and there. And I'm in my head like, okay, hold up. She need to give me a second, because I want to be able to think my thoughts through. I don't want to say anything out of emotions. I don't want to hurt her feelings. Like, I'm trying to take everything into consideration. And she's on the other end, and she's like, well, I want to talk about it right now. I don't want to go throughout my day thinking about this. I want to deal with it right now. And I'm in my head like, can we just take a break? And just let me take a break and get my thoughts together so I don't say anything wrong, or, so I can correctly articulate what I'm feeling as well. So 2 different ends of the spectrum right there, but we're still taking the time to say what we're not going to do. Oh, I hate bad grammar. What we are not going to do is sweep this under the rug and expect it to just go away, because it's not going away. You just having a soggy rug. Glory to God. Thank you. But look, right after this, we're going to go right into our social media poll. Boy, I tell y'all, I'm very, very excited for this, because I kid you not, the people who are on my social media pages, they are absolutely hilarious. Make sure y'all keep watching, liking, subscribing, share this with your friends. Let them know, hey, you can watch this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What y'all know about that? Y'all don't know about that. So go ahead and keep sharing it, keep liking it. Hey, listen to this ad right here, right fast. Yo, let's take a quick break right here. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, okay, no, this is not one of those kind of. It's not one of those kind of ads. I'm sorry, had to get that out. But look, have you been looking to start a podcast and you don't really know where to get the tools, right? Or maybe let's just say you're looking to generate some extra income in your life, and you want to get those tools to start making that extra income. Well, let me help you out right quick. Visit the links below in the description. and you will find that I have already set out podcasting equipment, everyday life things that you might need to make your life better. Go ahead and visit my Amazon storefront, click those links below, and I promise you, and let's make the first steps to making our lives better. Just click the link below and let's get to changing your life. Now, let's get back to ranting. All right. We are back. We're back again, and we are looking at the social media polling. So I put on my social media, my Instagram story, which is where I'm getting most of my interaction from. So I might start, solely going to my Instagram story for my social media polling. Facebook, I don't know what happened. Y'all was giving me some good interaction and then y'all just stopped. I don't know. I don't know if the algorithm doesn't like me. I don't know. I might even start going to TikTok. Hey, TikTok, be on the lookout. Y'all know where I'm at. Y'all know I'm at The Lewis Brand on TikTok. I don't know if I ever said it before. The Lewis Brand on TikTok. Make sure to follow me. We're on there as well. So I asked them, I said, what stage of a relationship are you in? Why are you in that stage of relationship? So I had 51% of the voters say that they're single. I had 37% of the voters say that they're taken. And I had 11% of the voters say that it is complicated. So let's dive into some of these responses. So somebody said that they're single because there's just too many games being played. And hey, don't let people play games with you. I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day, or just a few minutes ago, honestly. And we were talking about how time is nothing to be played with. Like, time is one of those things that only God himself can, he's not going to go back in time and just give you, he can make up for lost time. But man, time is one of those things. Once you lose it, it's gone. What's going on, Walia? Walia answered. She said, I'm just the most, I had a little stroke. She said, I'm at most peace when I'm by myself. I'm the most at peace when I'm by myself. So she said, that's why she's single. Hey, when I tell you something, you'll learn this I've learned this as I've been just, progressing in life and, getting a little bit older. Peace, that's something I want to hold to. I want to hold on to my peace. Glory to God. I want to hold on to my peace. And I'll be trying to tell my co-producer this sometimes. I'll be like, and she's always like, I know you get tired of me asking all these kind of questions and everything. I know you get tired of me starting with you. And I said, yeah, I kind of do sometimes, because what I'm learning to cherish is my peace. I'm learning to cherish my peace. Dan said, what's going on, Daniel D. Coleman? My boy Dan said he's taken because he believes and he knows in his heart that he's found the one. Congratulations, Dan and Tia, on your engagement. Love y'all so much. Hold up, let me put the heart. Ooh, let's go. Got the heart in there for you. Troy, man, you so crazy, bro. Troy said being a dog. LOL, I gotta chill though. LOL, I gotta chill though. Hey, but for real though, the women, don't let men tell y'all that they don't understand the decisions that they're making. As men, we understand why we're doing what we got to do. Sometimes we understand that we're in a season where we're dogs, right? Let's just be real. This is a safe space. Let's just be real. Sometimes as men, black men in particular, young black men, or either, now if you over 35 and you still playing games with women, I need you to grow up real fast, my guy. Do better, real fast, do better. But you in their 20s, you know what I'm saying? And you don't let that dude, tell you that, he don't understand why he doing what he doing. He understands. Just allow him, or and I was talking to my homegirl today. Sometimes you just got to let people go. Promise you, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And not only does he do that, but he gives you power to cut people off. Glory to God. Whoa, that's a soundbite right there. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, but God also gives you power to cut people off. Please, thank you. And some of us need to cut some people off because they still have to go through those stages of development with or without me. I promise you. Now, you can stay with me and we can, I can help you in your development, or you can go develop with all them other people you fooling with. Right. You ain't about to play with my feelings like that. What's going on to my little sister Nala? I call my little sister already. She just said she's single because she's still weighing her options right now, and I respect that. Right, I respect the person who's honest about what they're doing, and I don't want people to think that just because you're talking to somebody, you have to be exclusively talking to them. That's what dating and courting is meant for. That's literally you weighing your options. What I have a problem is when you've committed to a person and you still entertaining other people. Oh, that's good to me. That's good to me. I'm not even gonna read this one. He just said, you know. Oh my God. Okay, I ain't gonna play with you. I ain't gonna play with you. And of course, my co-producer tapped in on the Instagram story. She said she's taken, and she said she's taken because I took her. Glory to God. I wish I could share with y'all something that happened the other day. And old bro came up to me. He was like, you treating old girl right? I said, oh yeah, I am. I got her. She gonna be all right. She gonna be all right. What's going on, Sister Megan? Megan is my sister's best friend. What's going on, Megan? Hi. And she says she's single because she just hasn't found her person yet. And, you know, and I was talking about this with my homegirl earlier as well. And we was talking about if we do believe that God truly has set out a plan for us in life, all we're responsible of doing is walking in the plan that he's set up. And if we are to believe that God is sovereign in all of those things, then he has these people, places, opportunities, settings. He has all of these things set up for us. We just have to walk into it. And that includes the person we're meant for, it, right? God has all of it set up. And if we just follow his steps, we'll allow ourselves to, you know, keep going through life correctly. Wow, this is so good. Somebody said they're single because it's better and more comfortable. And I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that being in a relationship is immediately easy. Like it's hard enough figuring out who I am as an individual. Put that into a relationship. Now I have to figure out me and you on a daily basis. Like some days I get up and I'll be like, Xavian, why are you feeling this way? And Xavian be like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I'm just feeling this way. It's hard enough dealing with that for myself. Now I have to deal with it for other people too. What's going on, Angel? I love you. She said men aren't worth the energy at the moment. But, you know, I laugh at that, but still, that's so very good too, because you really need to start delegating what does and does not deserve your energy in this season. You'd get a lot more sleep, and you would get a lot more effective sleep if you start delegating and deciding what and what does not deserve your energy in this season. Maylinda, because she said my man is my best man. She said my man is the best man. So we already know she's taken. And then we got another one. They said they're taken. And this is oh my God, this is so amazing. She said, I stopped looking for love and the purest person found me and made me a lover girl again. Wow, that's so good. Like right before I got on here, someone called me and they was talking about they're just trying to figure out in their life, where did they lose it at? Where did they go wrong at? Where did they lose it? And I told her, I said, well, I'm just glad that you know you lost it. That's so good to me, because I told her one of the most dangerous things in life is losing something that you didn't know you lost. And so with that statement she just made, she made it clear that she just stopped looking for love. Love was the last thing on her mind, or in other words, she had lost love. But in her losing love, somebody found that love that she lost and made her love again. Wow, that's so good to me. What's going on? Got another one here. She said she's single because she said, honestly, I'm really scared of settling for the wrong person. So I limit my attachment with people. Hey, if you don't like I said, there's so much to fear when it comes to romantic relationships, so much to fear, a lot of anxiety associated with it, because there's just so many rooms for error. But that's why in those waiting stages, it's always pertinent to develop your sense of discernment, right? It's always very, very pertinent to take the moment to say, hey, I'm going to purposely start heightening my senses. I'm going to purposely start diving deeper in God and praying to him that he gives me the spirit of discerning of spirits, right? He gives me that gift of discerning of spirits. So I don't just willingly give my time, my energy, my love, my emotions to a person who just does not deserve it. Somebody said because I'm not ready to get married. Simple as that. I mean, like I'm saying before, those are big Big. When I say big, those are big commitments, right? We always, and what we kind of saw before, like when my grandma and them was growing up, people was getting married at like 16, 17, 15. Be for real. What? And it was just because they wanted to have their little taste of sex. No. And we now see that that's not a reason to get married. That's just because you want to have sex with somebody, that's not a reason to get married. I promise you it's not. Got my homeboy, he said, in this season, God wants me to focus on myself in order to be the best I can be for the future. Hey, there it is right there. Making the best out of that waiting season. Okay. So somebody said that they're dating exclusively, just not the boyfriend yet. And that's a stage to go through too, right? So let's just say you're going through that courting stage. You kind of X everybody else off. So you really only kind of dealing with this one person, but it still hasn't reached the point of a relationship. Like just because it's exclusive doesn't mean that it should transition into that relationship stage yet. Like there should still be some more, intel gathering in between those two spaces, right? And so said all that to say this, and I want to go back to that. As we get ready for our inspirational rant. I know I haven't brought up what it is word for word, but I want to go back to where we talked about the waiting stage, right? And when we're in that waiting stage, particularly, waiting for, that romantic relationship in our life. I want to say this, and this is the inspirational rant for the day. Cue the music. What it is so pertinent for you to do in your life, it is very, very pertinent for you to love you first. That's the inspirational rant for today. Love you first. This year, at the beginning of the year, I made a vision board. I think I talked about it before. I made a vision board, me and my co-producer, and I put on there self-care. And I most of the times in my life, I've always poured out more than I received in. So I was always giving, but never taking the time to be poured back into, or never pouring back into myself. So I had a bunch of times in my life where I was putting other people first before me, and my love for myself would come last, and that caused me to make some bad decisions on the form of myself. So my inspiration for today is to love you first. Take the time to figure out you. Take the time to date yourself, right? We talked about it in the last episode. Self-care just doesn't have to be you going to go get your nails done. Self-care doesn't have to be you just going to go get your hair cut. Self-care doesn't have to be any of those things. But what is it that you need it to be, right? It's bigger than just running you up a bubble bath with some Dr. Teal's bubble bath, and you got your melatonin in there and you about to sleep good. What about self-care in the form of, what can I do to build my patience? I want to be better that way. I want to care for myself in the area of, I know this person just hurt me. What can I do to help myself get back? It's more than just, and if we're being honest, self-care hurts. If I've got shot by somebody, this is such a good scenario. This is gonna be a clip. Watch it. If I've been shot by somebody and I don't have anyone else there to help take the bullet out and clean the wound, it hurts more for me to provide self-care to myself. It hurts. Self-care hurts, right? But I promise you, in the end, it's where you start to learn who you are. You start to learn in those moments who you are as an individual. You start to learn what you like and what you don't like when you start doing true self-care. When you start doing that real self-care that sometimes makes you feel uncomfortable, right? You'll start to figure out what you do and what you don't like. You'll start to figure out what your limits are. That's true self-care, right? You'll start to figure out that there are moments in life where I just have to put me first, and I have to love myself first, even when it hurts other people. Wow. Take a moment right there and just oh, wow, that's so good to me. Just take a moment right here and just say purposefully in your mind that I'm going to love me first. Repeat after me. Say, I am going to love me first. Cut the music. Woo! All right, that thing got real good to me right there. I promise you it did. Let me tell you why though, because I went through seasons of my life where I was not putting myself first. I went through so many, and I'm not talking about just one. I went through seasons of my life where I would put other people first, and I didn't understand why I was going through things I was going through, and it was because I wasn't even taking the time to invest back into myself. All right, look, That's What She Said. Thank you so much, Michael Scott. Thank you to the writers of The Office for giving me that iconic phrase. That's what she said. It's helped me throughout life, in funny moments. But look, I want y'all to listen to the outro right here. I love y'all. See y'all next week. Yo, look, hopefully I haven't ranted too much. But look, if you enjoyed that episode, go ahead and comment, subscribe, do whatever you have to do to let me know that you enjoyed this episode, and go ahead and run to those comments and give me your personal rantings, because look, I accept all of it. But look, if you're looking to be a part of an exclusive community of what I like to call ranters, you can go right over to the link below for the Patreon. $5 a month. Yes, just $5 a month for behind the scenes content. You can click anything, everything you want. Bonus episodes, it will be located in the Patreon. So click the link below. $5 a month to join the Patreon. Look, I promise you, you won't regret it. You won't regret it at all. But look, always remember, they rant, you rant, but I rant too. See y'all next week, folks.